Wisdom and concentration. Recently I was asked by a company who are researching a very important problem, and that is finding a cure for cancer. It's a very small company, a small team of scientists, and they asked me to come in and help them to develop a more intuitive mindset. I mean, these are all people with PhDs, they're brilliant, they're handpicked, and they're experts in their field. But the way they've been trained is very analytical. And what they have told me is that they have so many possibilities when it comes to developing a new drug or a new process, that there are too many to figure out which one works, or to experiment thousands and thousands and thousands of times and find a solution. They need to somehow be better at guessing if they want to get a result. And that means they want to develop some kind of intuitive sense. So I find this a very exciting challenge, and I'm working with them on that. So there is a different kind of intuition from the one that comes up with ideas, just ideas or imagination. So there are different levels of intuition. One is that where we want to write a song or a piece of poetry, or a creative writer might want to write a version of Lord of the Rings with better jokes. So that requires new ideas, imagination. The next level of intuition is where we tap into what I call wisdom. And wisdom is more where we connect with deep truths, things that are already there, created by God or the universe or whoever is responsible for all this. So these are insights, and it's also an intuitive process, but it's kind of the difference between Picasso thinking it's a good idea to paint a picture of a lady with both sides on the same side of her head. Nobody ever thought of that before. And Einstein unearthing the secrets of the universe. So it's a different level, it's a different type of intuition. To cultivate this kind of intuition, we prescribe, if you like, a different meditative practice. And that is, it's a form of concentration. In Sanskrit it's called Dharana. It's one of the 8 limbs of yoga, which I'll give you the whole map of this in the last section of this series. But just for now, let's call it concentration. Now, concentration can take many forms. In this case, I'm talking about concentrating on a single idea for a period of time, or it might be a point in the body, or a particular color, or a particular a point in some way. So this stills the mind. If you're reading a book and your eyes are following the words and your mind is following the concepts, your object of concentration is constantly changing. This is a different type of concentration. Here you're concentrating on one idea, fixing your attention on that, and that, naturally enough, stills the mind. In yoga we take that further. There are some more sophisticated ways of doing this, where you concentrate on different parts of the body called chakras, and this really helps to bring mental stillness, and it brings all the disturbing kind of desires and thoughts and processes into harmony. And this is the key to inner wisdom. These techniques were actually developed long ago by the Chinese mystics. The tradition of Tantra that I'm trained in comes primarily from India, but this particular section of the techniques were actually further developed in China, and then they merged back into the Tantra and Yoga tradition. So you'll see that the kind of characteristic image of a Chinese mystic, a Chinese poet, or sort of wise person is somebody who's very calm, very peaceful, and have this kind of depth of character that you can see reflected in their poetry and their painting and their wisdom writings. So this sort of stillness that comes from concentration gives us access to our inner natural wisdom. And we experience it typically as our conscience. It's our innate sense of what is right and what is real and what is true and what we should avoid. It's our intuition is telling us what we should do. And sometimes we listen and sometimes we don't.